Well, Bennett Kessler filed this report. Several months ago, the Los Angeles Department of Water and Power filed legal actions against Mammoth Community Water District to claim that LA owns all the water rights in Mammoth Creek. Now, more recently, LA DWP sent a letter to the Forest Service objecting to the issuance of a new permit that covers all water district facilities on forest land. Now, this includes water storage, water and sewer lines, and pump stations. DWP now says they are concerned about their water rights in this matter, been in place for decades. The Forest Service says they do not intend to take any action on DWP's comment and that there are no new uses by Mammoth Water District. Now, Water District Manager Greg Norby called DWP's latest objections, quote, petty harassment, end quote. Sierra Wave Media emailed DWP Public Relations Director Joe Romallo for DWP's response to that. Romallo did respond that the Forest Service asked for public comments on the new Forest Service master permit with the Water District. He said LADWP provided comments requesting more information to, quote, better understand how the master permit could affect its operations, end quote. Romallo said, quote, any actions that the Water District takes in the way of new facilities for diversion, treatment, or discharge could affect LADWP's water rights, and absent a description of the facilities and operations, LADWP has no basis to know if it is affected, end quote. Now, Forest Service Public Information Officer Nancy Upham said DWP's comment was the only letter received on what amounts to an administrative move to consolidate Mammoth Water District's permits into one master permit. Upham said, quote, there is nothing new here. The Water District facilities have been in place for decades, end quote. Now, DWP information man Romallo said LADWP's comment letter to the Forest Service, quote, simply seeks the appropriate disclosure of public information, end quote. DWP asked the Forest Service to issue a supplemental notice and decision memorandum describing changes by the Water District with an extended public review and comment period. Upham said that Mammoth District Ranger John Regelbrugge believes that there is no reason to do that. Upham said, quote, it's an administrative type action placing all the permits into one. There is nothing new happening on the ground and no impact on water rights, end quote. Now, Upham said the same conveyance and water storage facilities are there and, quote, do not affect water rights at all. There's nothing new here, end quote. Upham said for the sake of efficiency, creating one master permit makes good administrative sense. And we'll note there is an Inyo County Water Commission meeting that is set for tomorrow, Thursday. That is taking place 6 p.m. at the Inyo County Water Department, and that's at 135 South Jackson Street in Independence. Well, Bennett Kessler also filed this story. Ministers and citizens piled into the Bishop City Council chambers Monday night for public comment. They wanted to say more about the city's new guidelines on prayers before council meetings. City Attorney Peter Tracy first gave them all a civics lesson on freedom of religion. Tracy went back to England and before the foundation of America, he told of the, quote, great amount of religious discrimination, end quote, and the eventual birth of the Church of England. He said a main motivation of the colonials was the exercise of freedom of religion, which eventually led to the First Amendment of the Constitution. Tracy said it means government cannot, quote, establish or support a given religion. When the rubber meets the road, it's difficult, he said. Now, in Bishop, where the Christian religion dominates, some ministers and citizens said they were offended that the city made rules to eliminate specific mentions of Jesus Christ in the public prayers. Tracy tried to show the protesters that the law and court cases support this kind of limitation in city government because of the separation of church and state. The city attorney also pointed to potential attorney's fees if the city were sued by an outside party. Those attorneys, he said, could collect as much as $300,000 or more. Tracy said, quote, this is the risk the city has with taxpayer dollars, end quotes. When Rajan Zed of Reno asked to deliver a Hindu prayer at the city council last month, Tracy said denial would have been risky, so the council adopted guidelines. Now, Bishop Mayor Dave Stottlemyre said the council would put this issue on a future agenda for further discussion. And then the public spoke. Wesley Bloom said he would like to see the guidelines reversed. He said, quote, "It grieves me very much that our decisions are based on the fear of lawsuits. This compromises our freedoms," end quote. Now, Father Gracie said church and state should not rule one another. Gayla Wolf called the lack of religion in public, quote, "a growing cancer," end quote. Pam Mitchell said she is a Christian and appreciates people voicing their feelings, but supports praying in private, not publicly. Said Mitchell, "I never felt cut off and denied regarding prayers in public meetings. Everyone should be free to worship as they want," end quote. More on all of this at a future Bishop City Council meeting. Well, Devil's Postpile National Monument began mechanical fuels treatment to approximately 10 to 30 acres within its boundaries on Monday. This is according to a press release from the National Park Service, which stated that the reduced fuel area will facilitate the proactive implementation of the monument's fuels management objective of providing for public and firefighter safety. Now, fuel loads in the monument and surrounding forest are magnified due to that powerful windstorm that occurred back on November 30th. Now, that windstorm lasted approximately 12 hours with wind speeds of up to 180 miles per hour. Estimates are that 1/3 to 1/2 of the forest within the monument was affected, and that thousands of trees were knocked down. Now, mechanical thinning will take place to remove downed trees around the monument infrastructure and adjacent to primary trails to reduce fuel loads, restore a more natural stand structure, and create additional defensive space in the northeast corner of the monument. Press release goes on to say that fire crews will be working on removing downed trees and reducing fuel loading around facilities, the road corridor, and northeast corner of the monument and areas of heavy visitor use in order to provide for, again, increased public safety and reduce the risk of severe fire in those areas. Now, if you are hiking in an area where fuels work is occurring, you're asked to please do not enter the area until crews are aware of your presence and have given you the go-ahead to pass through. And we're also asked to please observe any temporary closures or delays on monument trails. They are put in place for the safety of all visitors. Now, if you would like to get some more information about this project, which is expected to take about 2 to 4 weeks, you can contact Monument staff at 760-934-2289. Now, Mammoth District Ranger John Regelbrugge, he laid out some of the details before the Mammoth Town Council last Wednesday. Going beyond the official press release, Regelbrugge explained that the sheer volume of downed trees fuels a risk to public safety. He said all those trees could contribute to a catastrophic fire. Now, a helicopter company has been hired to haul out lumber in hard-to-get areas, and the trees will go by truck to Sierra Forest Products. Regelbrugge estimated that the trees will add up to 3.5 million board feet. He said the contractor wants to get most of the work done this fall, as logs will be in better shape if they don't spend the winter under snow. Forest Rangers said that truck traffic will amount to the biggest impact to Mammoth. He said the work will start next week and that there will be an unprecedented amount of activity. Well, in an effort to combat the damage to natural resources, the Bureau of Land Management's Bishop Field Office has initiated a graffiti removal program. According to a press release, public comments will be taken through September 30th on the programmatic categorical exclusion. Comments should be set to BLM Outdoor Recreation Planner Richard Williams. That is at 351 Posse Lane, Suite 100, Bishop, California 93514, or you can email rdwillia@blm.gov. Now, BLM plans to remove or cover graffiti on rocks, walls, or other surfaces located on public lands. Graffiti would be removed or masked using techniques including scrubbing with wire brush, power washing, graffiti remover, and painting over. If you would like to get some more information on this, you can call 760-872-5033. Now, said the BLM's Williams, graffiti is a blight on the landscape. Currently, it's not widespread on public lands managed by the Bishop Field office, but the office is being proactive to stop it before it becomes a common sight, end quote. Sierra Wave Media, well, we couldn't agree more with Williams, and we will note that the Bishop Police Department received reports of major gang graffiti in downtown Bishop earlier this week. No publicity, no video for these people. It's just vandalism, and it's just a shame. And we urge viewers to report any graffiti activity to your local law enforcement agency. We'll be back with more news.